So now we're going to do the review portion of Stone Age. So hopefully you've had a chance to see the how to play video and the playthrough. And as mentioned in other videos, this is part of our project to review the top 100 family games according to users on Board Game Geek.
Mm-hmm.
And Stone Age is the top 10 family game as of August 2019.
Wow.
Now we've had this game since when it first came out almost 11 years ago. So let's take a look at the overview. All right, so it's a strategy family game, players 2 to 4, 60 to 90 minutes, ages 10 and up. It involves dice rolling, set collection, worker placement, and it's published by Z-Man Games. So, knowing that, as I mentioned in a previous video, this is the Rio Grande version. So I don't know if the rule book is written a little bit differently than the Z-Man version or if they changed anything. But this is our first worker placement game that we ever acquired. So this was our introduction to that family of games.
Yeah, we loved it as soon as we played it. We played it with the kids when they were little, and they absolutely loved it.
So now we're going to go over our list of what we liked or might not have liked or were neutral on it. And so we come up with these lists separately. Julie comes up with her list. I come up with mine. She doesn't know what I'm going to say. And now I do know what she's going to say.
Because he has to put it in the
But
computer.
I have to put it into the computer. But we do it separately. So let's take a look.
Okay. So I said that they are great pieces, and they are very thematic. If you have gold, you really have gold pieces. If wood, it looks like wood.
Yeah, and this is something that didn't happen a lot in the past. It's more common today. I mean, yeah, the meeples could be a little bit more
meeple-y,
Stone Agey, but even then, for back then, it wasn't a typical meeple.
Yeah.
But yeah, nice pieces.
Yeah, and they're real thick, and it's just great. And as we said, it's really fun. If it wasn't so much fun, we wouldn't have played it as often as we did as soon as we got it.
Right.
Even though it's a 2 to 4 player game, I believe, it works really well as a 2-player game. Yeah. We really enjoy it as just the two of us. The game length, it's pretty good. It's not too long.
It took longer when you're doing the think alouds that we do while we're playing and explaining things.
But when we're just playing it, just the two of us, it can go really fast.
We can be done in 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah, which is great. Yeah. I did say it can be frustrating because we've played this game a lot, and as much as I enjoy it and I love playing with David and the boys, I've only won, I think, like 1 or 2 times.
Yeah, you haven't won that many.
And so it's really hard for me to say, hey, yeah, let's play Stone Age, when I know that pretty much I'm going to lose. But it's not that I win or lose, it's just you really get into it and you're winning, and all of a sudden someone comes from behind, like you just see in the playthrough, and you totally get smoked. And it's just, you're working so hard, you're trying so hard, and then you just get your buns kicked.
The point is, to your credit, you're willing to play it even though you often lose.
Well, of course.
All right, so I'll go over my review now.
All right.
So the game flow is incredibly easy to play. I mean, it's just like butter. It's smooth. They go quick and the decisions are very interesting because of that. Now, inviting art, like we talked about the pieces, I mean, the artwork, 11 years ago, you didn't always see games with artwork this well done.
Really?
Like I said, this is the standard now. They have, like I said, pieces like this and artwork that is this well done. Because it draws you in thematically. I mean, you really feel like you're a part of a Stone Age village.
Yeah.
So acceptable luck mitigation. So what I mean by that is that, there's games like chess that are pure strategy, and there are games like Candyland is pure luck. You might as well just roll a die 6 to see who wins Candyland. I mean, there's no strategy whatsoever. Whereas this is more on the strategy scale, and yes, you can get unlucky when you're rolling the dice, but because you have the tools to add in to it, you could add in that tool to add +1 to your dice roll. It's acceptable. I mean, you can roll badly.
Oh yeah.
And that doesn't happen as often though if you play the odds. So if you're going to go to the gold space with 1 worker and expect to roll a 6 and a 1 and 6, that's your fault.
Yeah.
Even putting 2 workers there without any tools.
It's rough.
And if you think you're going to get a 6, I mean, odds are you will, but if you put 3 there,
Your
And
luck goes up.
your
Chances.
You likely will get a gold,
Right.
although you can roll in lucky even then. All right, so it is a gateway worker placement game. So even though we have a bunch of worker placement games, this is the game I always think of if I want to teach this mechanic, this genre of games.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there might be easier games or quicker games, this one this is my go-to game when I want to teach somebody how to play a worker placement game.
I agree.
And so in terms of authentic education connections, it's not didactic. So what I mean by that is that worksheets that you give to a child, like during the summer, you'll have homeschooling parents or parents say, here, do these worksheets, keep yourself busy. That's not usually
That's not
authentic
fun.
education. It's just drill and kill, as they call it. Whereas this, if you want to teach math and teach social studies, the connections are incredible, where the fact that you are talking about getting a stable food supply, which frees up your workers to focus on developing the civilization. I mean, for instance, you're not going to worry about music necessarily if you're worried about getting food for the day.
Correct.
So that's one of the biggest advancements. The key advancement to civilization is a stable food supply, which frees up workers to do other things and have other professions. And this game teaches this. And the fact that in the mathematics, it's authentic. You're adding, and then you got to divide by different numbers here. Here you are teaching your math skills without the kids thinking that you're
It's math.
drilling math.
Yeah.
So if this was, this would be a game I would use in an after-school club or in a pull-out gifted class, even with AP students or honors or gifted class. The only hesitation I would have is that when you have larger classes with many students, it would be very difficult to put this out at tables unless you have a classroom culture where you know the kids, you can teach the kids the game to the whole group and they will follow along without misbehaving.
Right.
Whereas unless you have that situation,
You wouldn't be safe to do it.
right, I would be doing it in a small group where I'd be sitting with the kids,
Right.
teaching them and putting them in pairs, because you could
Sure.
play this with even 8 kids.
Oh,
And you
sure.
put them in pairs, which I used to do. I used to do that all the time when I did pull-out gate, is use games to teach different thematic lessons. And this
Right.
would be one would be my go-to. But in the last 10 years when this came out, I wasn't doing pull-out gate. I was an administrator at
Right.
the time. So anyway, let's go to my last one here.
Okay.
The HUD action is a potential concern. If you don't want to have that uncomfortable conversation, it could be uncomfortable. As you know, in the playthrough and how to play, you go into the hut, 2 people go in, and then magically they come out with a 3rd person. So, but you know what? That's real life.
That's
because
life. Yeah.
there's a reason why we went from 1 million people over 6,000 years ago
To billions.
to billions today. And our species would not be here today if it wasn't for
That's true. The HUD action.
Yeah, for the HUD action or reproduction. So it can be uncomfortable for some people. And so this is just something to think about.
Definitely.
All right, so let's take a look at how we rated it
Okay.
according to the Board Game Geek scale.
All right. Let's see.
So
Wow.
I rated it a 10
Wow.
because it is my go-to worker placement game. And of all the educational connections, it's something that I really enjoy playing. And Julie, you rated an 8. Why did you rate it an 8?
Well, I do enjoy playing it, even though I don't ever win.
Well, you win rarely, so.
But I do enjoy it, and I would suggest it because it is a fun way to teach someone the worker placement, and it is a fun way just to, have a game where you're not like burning your brain cells up trying to play something when you're tired, but you want to play something that you both enjoy or the family enjoys. And it's just a fun way to spend time together. So that's why I would suggest it. I wouldn't make it a 9 or a 10, only because
Well, you don't win as often.
I don't win
understand.
as often.
Yep.
But I do enjoy it, and I would suggest it if we had family over or friends that are interested in wanting to learn how to play a game like this. I would think of this right away.
Right, and reason why it checks the boxes, it checks the boxes for the worker placement game that I like the most, but the educational aspect,
Right.
having taught social studies now for over 22 years, and gifted education for that long as well. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just checks the boxes.
And I wouldn't think of it in that sense.
No,
which is
that's all
okay
right.
because I'm not a teacher, so I shouldn't.
But it is a game you have to facilitate as a teacher. It's not one where
Yes.
you can give to the kids and let it, put it in a center and they would be able to pull out and go, oh, let's play this
Right.
game. No,
No,
they need
you're right.
teacher facilitation.
I agree.
Unless they're like I said, you have an environment where they know how to pull out a game and set it up without adult supervision,
Which is kind of rare, I would
it
think,
would be an
nowadays,
incredible
wouldn't
environment
it?
to have that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so that's our review of Stone Age. And if we get 100 likes on this video or on the how to play or the playthrough, we'll do a series on the expansion, which introduces jewelry and also includes a
that's
fifth
right.
player, has more cards and,
Right.
construction.
That one is fun. We've played that one before. That is fun.
But yeah, so thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like.
Thank you so much. I'm Julie.
And I'm David.